Picture this. You're standing at the edge of a shimmering desert, the sun painting the dunes gold, while ancient domes of turquoise and sapphire rise like mirages in the distance. Welcome to Uzbekistan, a land where history whispers through every brick and the air hums with secrets, waiting to be uncovered. Hello, or as the locals say, salam, to all you wanderers out there. We're diving headfirst into this Central Asian gem to help you craft the travel plans of your dreams. Whether you're chasing jaw-dropping wonders, sniffing out hidden treasures, or just curious about a place that feels like a time capsule with a modern twist, we've got your back with insider scoops to make your journey smooth, affordable, and downright unforgettable. So, what's on the horizon? We'll unveil the hypnotic sprawl of Samarkand's Registan Square, the eerie ship graveyard of Moynek, and quirky spots like the Louvre of the Steppes. That'll leave you scratching your head in delight. But here's the big question tugging at your wallet. Is this the cheapest country in the world to explore? Stick around to the end, because we're peeling back the curtain on that juicy mystery. Trust me, you won't want to miss the answer. From silk roads to sandy escapes, we're spilling it all with a dash of humor and a whole lot of wow. If you're itching to roam where few have ventured, hit that subscribe button, drop a comment with your wildest travel dreams, and give us a like to keep the adventure rolling. Let's journey into Uzbekistan together. Your next obsession starts now. Is this the cheapest country in the world? So, is Uzbekistan the cheapest country in the world to wander through? Let's crack open the piggy bank and find out. Imagine strolling through Bukhara's ancient bazaars, the scent of saffron and grilled lamb swirling around you, and snagging a steaming plate of plov, Uzbekistan's rice masterpiece, for less than $2. Yes, you heard that right, $2. Your taste buds will dance, and your wallet won't even flinch. Now, picture hopping on a sleek train from Tashkent to Samarkand, zipping past desert vistas and rugged hills, all for about $10 one way. That's less than your average overpriced latte back home. Accommodation? You can crash in a cozy guest house with carved wooden ceilings and breakfast fit for a Khan. Think fresh bread, honey, and tea for around $15 a night. Even the Grand Silk Road cities, dripping in history and mosaics, won't drain your savings. Entry to jaw-dropping sites like Registan Square costs roughly $3. 3. You're basically stepping into a living museum for the price of a candy bar. But here's the kicker. The real value isn't just the low numbers. It's the sheer richness you get for them. Where else can you barter for hand-woven silk in a 2,000-year-old market? Sip tea with locals who treat you like family, or gaze at architecture that makes your phone camera weep, all without breaking the bank? Sure, flights might nudge the budget if you're coming from afar, but once your boots hit Uzbek soil, it's a steal. So, is this the cheapest country in the world? Maybe not rock bottom compared to a roadside noodle stall in Southeast Asia, but for this level of wonder, history, culture, and hospitality, it's a ridiculous bargain. Your adventure here proves you don't need a sultan's fortune to live like one. Uzbekistan's captivating curiosities, the melon that rules the world. Forget apples. Uzbekistan bows to the mighty Mirzakal melon. Picture this, golden orbs so sweet they could charm a sorbus. Grown in the sun-drenched fields of the Mirzakal Desert, locals swear these melons, bursting with natural sugars, are the tastiest on the planet, and they've been a prized treat since Silk Road days. The catch? They're so juicy you'll need a bib, or a quick escape plan when the sticky chaos ensues. Sampling one is a delicious dive into Uzbek culture, proving nature's candy can outshine any store-bought sweet. The tea ritual that teases. Pouring tea in Uzbekistan isn't just a task, it's a performance with a twist. Before you sip, the host swirls a few drops in your piala, a small bowl, then dumps it back into the pot 3 times. It's like a tea-tasting warm-up that leaves you wondering if you're being pranked or blessed. This quirky tradition, rooted in respect and purification, turns a simple drink into a cultural riddle. Stick around to master it, and you'll leave with a story that's as refreshing as the brew itself. The good luck bread bonanza. Meet lipioshka, Uzbekistan's round. Golden bread that's more than a snack, it's a charm, baked with intricate patterns. It's believed to bring fortune, but flip it upside down, and you're begging for bad luck. Picture a baker slapping dough into a tandoor oven, the aroma wafting through bazaars, while locals clutch their loaves like lottery tickets. Sampling this crusty delight isn't just tasty, it's your ticket to Uzbek superstition, served with a side of giggles. The metro, that's a museum. Tashkent's metro isn't just a ride, it's a subterranean art gallery. Each station dazzles with marble ceilings, chandeliers, and mosaics that scream Soviet grandeur meets Uzbek flair. Imagine commuting past glittering pillars, feeling like you've crashed a royal ball instead of catching a train. Built as a nuclear shelter, too. It's a double dose of intrigue, beauty, with a bunker vibe. Hop on for a cheap thrill that's as educational as it is eye-popping, and you'll never see public transit the same way again. The Aral Sea's ghostly graveyard. Once a thriving lake, the Aral Sea's eastern basin in Uzbekistan is now a haunting desert littered with rusting ships. Picture hulking vessels stranded on cracked earth, a surreal reminder of Soviet irrigation gone wild. It's like a post-apocalyptic movie set, but real, and it's shrinking still. Visiting this eerie expanse offers a sobering peek at environmental missteps. With a dash of dark humor, even the fish must have packed their bags and left. The silk that sparkles. Uzbekistan's Khan Atlas silk isn't just fabric, it's a rainbow explosion. Woven in vibrant hues, this handcrafted textile once dazzled Silk Road merchants and now adorns everything from robes to rugs. Imagine artisans threading looms in Bukhara, their patterns glowing like a peacock's strut. Snagging a piece is your chance to wear history, with a flair that'll make your wardrobe jealous, and your friends curious about your sudden style upgrade. The double landlocked dilemma. Uzbekistan doesn't just lack a coast. It's surrounded by other landlocked nations, making it a rare double landlocked oddity. Picture a country so tucked away, you'd need to cross at least 2 borders for a beach day. Only Liechtenstein shares this quirky fate. But Uzbekistan's vast deserts and mountains add a wild twist. It's a geographic puzzle that'll have you laughing at the sheer stubbornness of its inland charm. Perfect for bragging rights on your next trivia night. The Petroglyphs of Sarmysh Gorge. Hidden in the rugged cliffs of Sarmysh Gorge, ancient petroglyphs carve out Uzbekistan's prehistoric past. Imagine Bronze Age hunters etching ibex and shamans into rock, their crude art surviving millennia. It's a scavenger hunt through time, with over 4,000 carvings whispering secrets of a lost world. Trekking here is a dusty, thrilling plunge into history. Bring your imagination and maybe a snack, because these rocks don't spill their stories easily. Wonders of Uzbekistan. Beneath the endless azure skies of Central Asia lies an ancient crossroads of civilizations, where history unfolds in magnificent architectural marvels and bustling bazaars tell stories of the legendary Silk Road, Uzbekistan. A double landlocked nation cradled between towering mountains and vast deserts, beckons with its breathtaking blend of Islamic splendor, Soviet remnants, and nomadic traditions. Journey with me through this mesmerizing land where turquoise domes pierce the heavens and intricate mosaics dazzle the eye. A place where Marco Polo once wandered and where Timur the Great built an empire. The hospitality of Uzbeks will warm your heart as much as their pilaf will satisfy your appetite, and their vibrant culture will leave you spellbound. Prepare for an unforgettable adventure through a country where every corner reveals another chapter of human ingenuity, artistic brilliance, and cultural exchange spanning millennia. Registan Square. In the heart of Samarkand stands the crown jewel of Central Asian architecture, a public square so magnificent that it has inspired poets and travelers for centuries. Registan Square, framed by 3 majestic madrasas adorned with azure tiles that shimmer like sapphires under the sun, represents the pinnacle of Islamic architectural achievement. When you stand in the center of this vast square, time seems to dissolve as the intricate, geometric patterns and flowing Arabic calligraphy transport you to the era of Tamerlane and the Timurid Empire. The square comes alive during festivals when traditional music echoes against ancient walls, and at night, when carefully placed lights illuminate the facades. The gold leaf glitters against the starry sky. Each madrasa tells its own story. Eula Beg with its astronomical references, Shurdor with its tiger motifs defying Islamic prohibitions, and Tilya Kori with its lavish gilded interior, forming an open-air museum of mathematical precision and artistic extravagance. Shah-i-Zinda Necropolis, ascending the ancient stairs of Shah-i-Zinda in Samarkand. Visitors embark on a spiritual journey through a stunning avenue of mausoleums dating from the 11th to 19th centuries. Legend claims the first tomb belongs to Qasim ibn Abbas, a cousin of the Prophet Muhammad who brought Islam to this region. His body, they say, did not die but descended into a well where he still lives, giving this sacred place its name meaning the living king. Each subsequent mausoleum showcases the evolution of ceramic art, with dazzling blues and turquoise tiles creating geometric patterns and floral motifs, so vibrant they appear illuminated from within. Walking through this necropolis feels like moving through a kaleidoscope of history, where each structure represents the final rest of nobility, yet celebrates life through its exuberant decoration. The play of light throughout the day transforms the facades, creating a constantly changing panorama of color that photographers and artists attempt to capture, but can never quite reproduce in its ethereal beauty. Itchan Kala of Khiva, rising from the dusty heart of the Uzbek desert. The ancient walled city of Itchan Kala in Khiva feels like a living museum, except the exhibits are entire buildings, still breathing with life. Within these soaring mud brick walls lies a world frozen in time but far from silent. The fortress doesn't just preserve history, it performs it. As you wander through the shadowy alleys and sunlit courtyards, you'll notice something unexpected. Even the air carries stories. The architecture itself amplifies whispers, creating a bizarrely brilliant soundscape where murmurs ricochet off walls, like secrets refusing to die. One moment, you're admiring the carved wood lattice of the Juma Mosque. The next, you're wondering if the merchant's call you just heard came from around the corner, or the 1700s, this echo-filled maze of mosques, minarets, and age-old homes reveals not just how people lived, but how cleverly they adapted, cooling rooms without fans and conserving water in an unforgiving climate. Up on a rooftop, just as the sun stains the clay walls with molten gold. Khiva unveils its full charm, a sea of domes, towers, and tales. With a surprise echo or two waiting around every bend, the ancient city of Bukhara. Stepping into Bukhara feels like opening a living history book or over 140 protected architectural monuments create one of the most complete examples of a medieval city in Central Asia, the city's focal point. The Kalyan minaret has stood sentinel for almost 9 centuries, surviving even Genghis Khan, who was so impressed by its majesty that he ordered it spared while destroying much of the city around it. Below the minaret, life continues much as it has for centuries in the trading domes where spices, silk, and jewelry exchange hands in a ballet of commerce that echoes the city's importance on the ancient Silk Road. Water still flows through the ancient pool of Liabai House, where mulberry trees provide shade for locals, playing chess and drinking green tea, while nearby, the exquisite geometry of the Samanid Mausoleum demonstrates mathematical precision that predates European Renaissance by centuries. The countless madrasas, mosques, and caravanserais reveal layers of history from pre-Islamic times through Persian, Turkic, and Russian influences, creating an architectural encyclopedia written in brick and tile. Mausoleum of Ismail Samani, standing for over 1,000 years. The Samanid Mausoleum in Bukhara represents the earliest masterpiece of Islamic architecture in Central Asia and showcases mathematical precision that continues to astound modern architects. Built between 892 and 943 CE, this perfectly proportioned cube topped with a hemispherical dome achieves its remarkable visual harmony through ingenious brickwork patterns, where each brick is placed at varying angles to create intricate geometric designs that catch shadows differently throughout the day. The structure survived Genghis Khan's devastating invasion by being buried in sand and forgotten, preserving its delicate details in pristine condition until its rediscovery centuries later. Inside, light filters through latticed windows, creating mystical patterns that dance across the interior walls, while the perfect acoustics allow whispers from one corner to be heard clearly in another, a phenomenon that continues to puzzle scientists. This architectural wonder demonstrates how early Islamic builders merged Zoroastrian symbolism with new Islamic geometric art, creating a style that would influence religious buildings throughout the Muslim world for centuries to come. The Ark of Bukhara, rising dramatically above the ancient city, the massive fortress known as the Ark of Bukhara served as the residence of the emirs for nearly 2 millennia, making it one of the longest continuously inhabited royal buildings in the world. This imposing citadel, covering almost 5 acres and surrounded by 20-meter-high walls, contained everything a royal city would need: palaces, temples, barracks, offices, mint, warehouses, workshops, stables, an arsenal, a prison, and even its own water supply. Walking through the dramatic entrance ramp where criminals were once executed, visitors can still feel the weight of history in the reception and coronation court, where emirs greeted foreign ambassadors and where the last emir surrendered to Soviet forces in 1920. Archaeological excavations reveal that humans first built structures on this site in the 5th century BC, with successive generations building atop previous ruins, creating a literal layer cake of civilization that archaeologists continue to study. Despite being severely damaged during the Russian Revolution, the restored sections now house fascinating museums displaying artifacts, spanning the entire history of Uzbekistan. From Bronze Age pottery to royal robes. Gur-e-Amir Mausoleum. Beneath a fluted azure dome in Samarkand lies the final resting place of the fearsome conqueror Timur, also known as Tamerlane, in a mausoleum that would become the prototype for the greatest achievements of Mughal architecture, including the Taj Mahal. The Gur-e-Amir, meaning Tomb of the King, combines Persian, Islamic, and Central Asian architectural elements in perfect harmony, with a double shell dome that creates both dramatic height and perfect acoustics inside the chamber. When Soviet archaeologists opened Timur's tomb in 1941, despite warnings inscribed on the tombstone, they reportedly found a message inside reading, "Whoever opens my tomb shall unleash an invader more terrible than I." Coincidentally, Nazi Germany invaded the Soviet Union the very next day. The interior dome soars 64 feet above a floor of onyx, jasper, and marble, with walls adorned in gold leaf and lapis lazuli, creating an otherworldly glow around the jade. Cenotaph of Timur and the simpler tombs of his spiritual advisor, sons and grandsons including Ula Beg, the astronomer king, whose mathematical genius determined the length of the year to within seconds of modern calculations. Chor-Minor Madrasah, like something from a fairy tale. The Chor-Minor, or Four Minarets in Bukhara, presents one of Uzbekistan's most whimsical architectural creations, with 4 distinctive turquoise-topped towers rising from each corner of a square building, built in 1807 by a wealthy Turkmen merchant. Each tower represents one of the world's major religions, according to local legend, though historians suggest they more likely symbolize the 4 cardinal directions. The eccentric design includes different decorative motifs on each tower, one with a cross pattern, another with waves, a third with diamonds, and the fourth with circular discs, creating an asymmetrical harmony that photographs beautifully from any angle, originally serving as the gateway to a now-destroyed madrasa. Today, only this quirky entrance building remains, housing a small bookshop where visitors can browse works about Uzbek history and architecture. Inside, a spiral staircase in 1 minaret leads to the roof, offering panoramic views of old Bukhara, while the central room with its perfect acoustics occasionally hosts intimate performances of traditional Uzbek music, allowing visitors to experience not just the visual, but also the sonic qualities of this architectural gem. Bibi-Khanym Mosque. Rising majestically above Samarkand stands the colossal Bibi-Khanym Mosque, built by Timur to be the largest Islamic structure of its time. A monument so ambitious that, according to legend, even elephants brought from India were employed to haul massive stones for its construction. Named after Timur's favorite wife, local folklore tells a romantic tale that the architect fell in love with the queen and refused to finish the mosque unless she allowed him a kiss, leaving a mark that her jealous husband noticed, resulting in the architect's execution and Timur's decree that women should wear veils thereafter. The mosque's enormous entrance portal, soaring 90 feet high, frames a courtyard large enough to accommodate 10,000 worshippers, while the massive marble Quran stand in the center, believed to bring blessings to those who crawl underneath it, exemplifies the grandeur Timur demanded. After centuries of earthquakes, neglect, and weather damage caused much of the original structure to collapse. Painstaking restoration work continues to bring this magnificent building back to life, allowing visitors to appreciate the scale of Timur's vision and the incredible skills of medieval craftsmen who created its enormous turquoise domes and intricate mosaics. Kyzylkum Desert. Stretching across northwestern Uzbekistan lies the vast Kyzylkum Desert, whose name translates to red sand in Turkic languages. A wilderness of rolling dunes, rocky outcrops, and occasional oases that covers an area larger than the entire United Kingdom. This harsh but beautiful landscape harbors surprising biodiversity, including the critically endangered Saiga antelope with its distinctive trunk-like nose, desert monitors that can grow to 5 feet long, and over 300 species of birds that create spectacular migrations across the seemingly endless sea of sand. Traditional nomadic shepherds still lead their flocks of fat-tailed sheep through seasonal pastures, practicing a way of life that has remained largely unchanged for millennia, while desert camps offer visitors a chance to experience their traditional hospitality, with meals under the stars and sleeping in yurts, decorated with hand-woven carpets. Ancient petroglyphs, carved into remote rock formations, reveal the stories of prehistoric hunters who pursued now extinct species across grasslands that existed before climatic changes created the current desert. While abandoned, caravanserais stand as silent witnesses to the silk road traders who braved this formidable terrain, carrying precious goods between east and west. Must-see cities of Uzbekistan. Samarkand, gleaming like a jewel at the center of the ancient Silk Road. Samarkand embodies the romantic essence of Central Asia with its breathtaking Islamic architecture that reaches toward perfection. Alexander the Great once marveled, "Everything I have heard about the beauty of Samarkand is true, except that it is even more beautiful than I could have imagined." The city's soul radiates from Registan Square, where 3 magnificent madrasas form what many consider the most beautiful square in the world. Their azure domes and towering portals, maintaining silent conversation across centuries. Beyond this iconic centerpiece, the Shah-i-Zinda Necropolis climbs, a sacred hill with its avenue of ornate mausoleums, while the massive Bibi-Khanym Mosque demonstrates the unbridled ambition of Timur the Great. Modern Samarkand offers visitors an appealing contrast between its UNESCO World Heritage monuments and its cosmopolitan atmosphere, with tree-lined boulevards from the Russian era leading to lively bazaars where the traditions of Silk Road commerce continue. At sunset, finding a rooftop viewpoint rewards observers with an unforgettable panorama of domes and minarets, silhouetted against the flaming sky. Bukhara. Walking through the labyrinthine streets of Bukhara feels like stepping into the world of 1001 Nights, where every turn reveals another architectural treasure from the city's golden age. As a center of Islamic learning, unlike many ancient cities that sequester their historic buildings in museum-like isolation, Bukhara integrates its monuments into everyday life, with children playing soccer in the shadow of 1,000-year-old minarets and merchants selling brilliantly patterned Suzani textiles from shops built into former caravanserais. The city contains over 140 protected medieval structures, including the magnificent Kalyan minaret that so impressed Genghis Khan with its beauty that he ordered it spared while destroying much of the city around it. Evenings in Bukhara offer magical experiences when soft lighting illuminates the ancient structures, and restaurants serve traditional meals on terraces overlooking historic squares, often accompanied by impromptu performances of traditional music. The Layabai House Ensemble centers around a tranquil pool framed by mulberry trees hundreds of years old, where locals and visitors alike gather to sip green tea and watch the world pass by at the unhurried pace that characterizes this living museum of a city, Khiva, emerging from the Kyzylkum Desert like a mirage. The walled inner city of Khiva, known as Itchan, transports visitors into an immaculately preserved medieval world that appears almost too perfect to be real. Unlike its Silk Road sisters Samarkand and Bukhara, compact Khiva can be fully explored on foot in a day, though rushing through would mean missing the subtle details that make this UNESCO World Heritage Site so remarkable. The azure tiles of the Islam Khoja minaret punctuate the skyline above a sea of flat-roofed clay, buildings in varying shades of brown and beige, creating a visual harmony that photographers find irresistible. Dawn paints these structures in golden light before tourists arrive, offering early risers a chance to imagine themselves as medieval travelers discovering this desert fortress after a long caravan journey. Though sometimes criticized for feeling like an open-air museum rather than a living city, Khiva compensates with its extraordinary completeness, allowing visitors to experience a coherent medieval urban plan with its defensive walls, palaces, harems, madrasas, caravanserais, and bathhouses, all preserved in remarkable condition. The panoramic view from the city walls at sunset, when the entire city glows amber, creates an unforgettable memory of this desert jewel, Tashkent. At every turn, expectations are quietly shattered in Uzbekistan's capital, Tashkent. Beneath its polished exterior pulses a city of contrasts, resilient, radiant, and refreshingly real. Few would expect a bustling metropolis to offer some of the clearest stargazing in Central Asia. But low pollution levels gift Tashkent a canopy of stars that seems almost performative. It's as if the universe itself decided to show off above this underrated capital. While ancient Silk Road cities often steal the spotlight, Tashkent quietly surprises visitors with its futuristic pulse and cultural richness. Beyond the famed metro stations, underground masterpieces lit by chandeliers and wrapped in mosaics, lies a city humming with life. The reconstructed old city pays homage to its past, while avant-garde galleries, global cuisine, and lush parks hint at a modern soul stretching forward. And in Korsu Bazaar, the scent of spices, fresh bread, and bustling chatter spills into every corner. Tashkent doesn't beg for attention. It earns it with every unexpected delight, including that magical, star-filled sky, Shahrisabz. Nestled in a fertile valley south of Samarkand lies Shahrisabz, the green city and birthplace of history's most fearsome conqueror, Timur Tamerlane, whose imposing summer palace Aksare once dominated this picturesque town, although earthquakes and centuries of neglect reduced much of Timur's architectural legacy here to ruins. What remains still impresses, particularly the massive 70-meter-high arch of the palace, entrance inscribed with the ominous warning, "If you challenge our power, look at our buildings." Beyond Timurid monuments, Shahrisabz charms visitors with its authentic atmosphere, relatively untouched by mass tourism, where traditional craftspeople continue centuries-old traditions of embroidery and carpet making in workshops. Tucked away in quiet neighborhoods, the surrounding countryside showcases why Timur chose this location, with verdant fields producing fruits and vegetables that supply colorful local markets, and nearby mountains offering hiking opportunities with panoramic views across the valley. Despite losing some of its UNESCO World Heritage, status due to controversial urban renewal projects. Shahrisabz remains an essential destination for travelers seeking to understand Timur's legacy away from the more visited sites. The Dorit Tilavet complex houses the tombs of Timur's father and spiritual mentor in a peaceful setting where local pilgrims still come to pay respects, creating an atmosphere of living heritage rather than mere monuments. Nukus, in the remote northwestern reaches of Uzbekistan, surrounded by the harsh Kyzylkum Desert, stands the surprising city of Nukus, home to one of the world's most remarkable art collections that tells an extraordinary story of creative resistance against Soviet oppression. The Savitsky Collection, housed in the State Art Museum of the Republic of Kyzylkum, contains thousands of avant-garde Russian and Uzbek works that museum founder Igor Savitsky rescued from certain destruction during Stalin's purges by hiding them in this remote location far from Moscow's watchful eye. Beyond this artistic treasure trove, Nukus serves as the gateway to the rapidly disappearing Aral Sea, once the world's fourth largest lake, whose environmental catastrophe represents one of the greatest ecological disasters of modern times. The surrounding desert landscapes offer dramatic opportunities for photography, particularly the hauntingly beautiful plateau of Ustyurt, with its otherworldly rock formations and ancient petroglyphs dating back thousands of years. Although the city itself presents a somewhat stark post-Soviet appearance with wide, empty boulevards and utilitarian architecture, its cultural significance and position as a jumping-off point for adventures into rarely visited landscapes make Nukus an essential stop for travelers seeking experiences beyond the standard Silk Road circuit. Fergana, cradled within a lush valley that has been Central Asia's agricultural paradise for millennia, Fergana city serves as the gateway to Uzbekistan's most fertile region, where traditions of silk production, ceramics, and wood carving have achieved their highest expressions. The city's wide, tree-lined avenues laid out on a grid pattern reflect its relatively recent foundation in 1876 as a Russian garrison town, giving it a distinctly different atmosphere from Uzbekistan's ancient Silk Road cities. Behind this ordered urban planning lies the cultural heart of the valley, where master artisans in surrounding towns create the country's most coveted traditional products. The delicate hand-painted ceramics of Registan, with their distinctive blue and green patterns. The Ikit silk fabrics of Marjolin woven using techniques unchanged for centuries. And the intricate wood carvings of Kokand, where royal craftsmen once adorned palatial residences. The weekly animal market offers a glimpse into rural life largely unchanged by modernization, where farmers haggle over livestock and examine agricultural implements, while sharing news over bowls of steaming shorpa soup, though sometimes overlooked by travelers focused on Uzbekistan's more famous historical monuments. The Fergana Valley rewards visitors with glimpses of living cultural traditions and opportunities to purchase directly from master craftspeople whose ancestors supplied the treasures that traveled the ancient Silk Road to distant royal courts. Kokand, rising to prominence in the 18th century as the capital of a powerful khanate that controlled the entire Fergana Valley. Kokand preserves its royal heritage in the spectacular Kudiyar Khan Palace, whose elaborately decorated one-for-room residence dazzles visitors with its blend of Russian and traditional Uzbek architectural elements. The palace's 7 courtyards once hosted diplomatic ceremonies and lavish entertainments for one of Central Asia's most powerful rulers, whose throne room remains intact with original hand-painted ceilings depicting cosmological motifs that represented the Khan's heaven-ordained authority. Beyond this centerpiece, Kokand maintains numerous historic madrasas and mosques, including the impressive Jami Mosque, whose 98 wooden columns were carried to the site by devoted pilgrims from distant mountains. Traditional neighborhoods, known as mahallas, preserve authentic Uzbek domestic architecture with their high walls concealing internal courtyards where family life centers around tapshans, raised platforms where meals are enjoyed and guests entertained in the open air during warm evenings. The city's Museum of Literature celebrates the remarkable flowering of Uzbek poetry and prose that occurred during Kokand's golden age, when the Khan's patronage attracted intellectuals from throughout Central Asia walking through. Kokand's old town rewards visitors with glimpses of master craftspeople practicing traditional wood carving, producing the ornate doors and columns that have made this city famous throughout the region. Termez, guarding Uzbekistan's southern frontier along the Amu Darya River. Ancient Termez stands as the country's gateway to Afghanistan and keeper of Buddhist treasures that reveal Central Asia's rich religious history before the arrival of Islam. Archaeological sites surrounding the modern city preserve evidence of Alexander the Great's passage, the flourishing of Buddhism along the Silk Road, and the devastation wrought by Genghis Khan, whose armies so thoroughly destroyed the medieval city that rulers were forced to rebuild at a new location. The impressive archaeological museum houses remarkable finds, including a 2,500-year-old ivory hairpin depicting a woman bathing, exquisite Buddha statues that demonstrate Greco-Bactrian artistic fusion, and chess pieces from one of the world's earliest known sets. Just outside town, the ruins of Kara Tepe and Fayez Tepe reveal extensive Buddhist monastery complexes with partially restored stupas and meditation caves decorated with murals that survived centuries of Islamic rule. The Sultan Sadat Memorial Complex, with its interconnected mausoleums housing generations of local rulers, demonstrates the architectural sophistication achieved during the region's Islamic Golden Age, while the nearby Kyzylkum fortress continues to puzzle historians with its unusual design, possibly serving as a caravanserai or summer palace. Despite its remote location in Uzbekistan's far south, Termez rewards determined travelers with insights into the remarkable religious diversity that once characterized this crucial Silk Road crossroads. Andijan, pulsing with entrepreneurial energy at the eastern edge of the Fergana Valley, Andijan embodies the resilient spirit of Uzbekistan's most densely populated region, where traditional values blend with commercial dynamism. The city takes immense pride as the birthplace of Babur, founder of the Mughal Empire that would eventually rule much of South Asia, whose memoirs provide invaluable insights into life in 15th century Central Asia, and whose modest mausoleum attracts both scholars and pilgrims. Though much of Andijan's historical architecture was destroyed in a devastating 1902 earthquake and further change during the Soviet period, its magnificent central bazaar preserves the authentic atmosphere of Silk Road commerce, with mountains of colorful produce reflecting the valley's agricultural bounty, and craftspeople selling traditional items, including the distinctive dapi, skull caps embroidered with intricate patterns specific to this region. Weekends bring crowds to Babur Park, where extended families gather for picnics around the artificial lake. Children ride carnival attractions, and impromptu performances of traditional music create a festival atmosphere. The city gained international attention following tragic events in 2005 when government forces suppressed public demonstrations. But today's Andijan welcomes visitors with the legendary hospitality of the Fergana Valley, where guests are treated with particular honor and where sharing a meal with locals often leads to invitations to celebrate weddings and other family events that offer authentic glimpses into contemporary Uzbek life. Wonders of Uzbekistan. Now that we've roamed the sunlit wonders of Uzbekistan, I'm dying to hear your take. Where's your first stop? Marveling at Samarkand's turquoise domes, hunting melons in the Mirzakal Desert, or getting lost in Tashkent's metro masterpiece? Drop your dream Uzbekistan escapade in the comments and let's swap some wanderlust vibes. If this journey sparked your curiosity, hit that subscribe button so you're ready for more wild adventures. Until we meet again, soak up the magic wherever you roam. And I'll catch you in the next video. Zair Kair, goodbye in Uzbek, with a wave and a grin.